Welcome to the Blue Bomber Training Camp Report. I'm Ed Tait alongside Gary Lawless. We're kind of getting into the dog days of training camp. Next Tuesday, the Bombers are on the road for the first preseason game against the Toronto Argonauts. We'll start to get some pretty good answers about what we're seeing out here then, at least more clear-cut answers. But Gary, what have you seen through the first part of camp that's kind of caught your eye?
Well, number one, the tone of the camp, competition. It has been much more fierce than we've seen, I think, in recent years. And we just had a fight here on the field a few minutes ago. And, it's offense versus defense in their drills. And then it's individual versus individual in the positional battles. And, the Bombers have had a ton of injuries. But General Manager Kyle Walters, has been able to bring in NFL cuts or guys that have not signed NFL free agent deals that thought they were gonna, and that's kept the real spirit of competition. The players in the locker room, guy gets hurt, and the next day a guy walks in who was in an NFL camp last week. It opens their eyes. It's keeping everyone on their toes. Management's very happy about that.
Yeah, that can't be understated, is the importance of intensity out here, because this is when it drags. They're out here for 3 or 4 hours a day, and if they sense a lull, Mike O'Shea, Kyle Walters, two guys who cut their teeth as hard-nosed special teams guys, you've got to have the effort level cranked up. You're talking about the linebackers for tomorrow in the paper. Let's focus on one guy in particular that's kind of, again, another guy that's caught your eye.
Sam Hurl. It was expected. Hurl, the book on him was that he can play. He has the athleticism, he has the instincts, but he's been inconsistent to this point in his career, and that didn't, they brought him in here as a free agent, but he wasn't automatically going to be the number one guy, and they went and signed Danico Allen, who had a big-time career for the Michigan Spartans, and, there was a thought that maybe Allen would come in here and he would be the number one guy, but so far, in terms of hustle, preparation, and instinct on the field, Hurl has been number one. And you're hearing some whispering around Bomber camp that goes back to a conversation he had with Mike O'Shea, who played middle linebacker as a Canadian in this league for a long time. I think he told Hurl, you can do it. It's up to you. There's reverse discrimination in this league. You look for Americans to play those key positions on the field, quarterback and middle linebacker being two of them. Mike O'Shea that won't bother him. If Sam Hurl is the best player, he doesn't care about his birth certificate. Big time opportunity for Hurl. So far, he's walked through it.
And what's interesting about that too is that the Bombers are committed to starting at least one Canadian in their linebacking core. And if Hurl goes down, they still have Greg Newman. They've got Jesse Briggs. Justin Warden was the guy that was in the fight you were just talking about. So for the first time in a long time, they've got depth at the position. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Canadian would have to be at middle, but they do have depth at the position. The Toronto game's still on the horizon. It's a couple games away, or a couple days away, Gary. Who has to pop out in a game like that?
Well, let's go to the offensive line right now, because this is a big battle going on right now. And Chris Greaves and Patty Neufeld are at the guard positions, and they were expected to start the season at those positions. That's not a given anymore. Suk Chung has come in here and had a fantastic camp. Management is more than open to the prospect of that rookie, Suk Chung, their pick, the number 2 overall pick, being in the starting lineup when the regular season opens. So look for those guys to have a fight when the action starts for real. Those guys have to shine. Neufeld has to have a good game. He's been a little banged up. He's got to get healthy. Greaves has stepped up his game. The competition that has been provided by last year's pick, Matthias Gosen, and Suk Chung has pushed Neufeld and Greaves. Management is real happy with what they're seeing. But don't be surprised if Suk Chung wins a job.
That's the Bomber Training Camp Report for Gary Lawless. I'm Ed Tait. Make sure to check out our website and tomorrow's paper.